pretty good. I mean,
We could be starting
Maureen is, I think, the only one really from promoting. She and Steven, I think you and Steven, and oh no, I was down in service center. Oh, you, come on.
Me.
Louis haircut, yeah.
No credit. No love.
But Maureen was actually the first employee that we hired, so.
She's a bartender.
This is Maureen right here, she's a server, she's
Oh.
the first one we hired, yeah.
She's
She
our
actually
secretary.
patiently waited about a month before we brought people on board, you know. So,
All right, let's get started.
Yeah, I mean, the tripod works perfect, the breakage tripod. Fabulous. Alright, so thank you guys, obviously, for coming in again on the day off. I like to do service meetings on like a monthly basis, just because, you know, you spend so much time with the people at work, sometimes more than your family. You know, sometimes tensions build up because you know, there are things that annoy you at work, and I like to just get all that stuff aired out, because work, if you're gonna spend so much time here, should be a place where you can come and actually enjoy the experience. No one should ever get frustrated with coming to work. It shouldn't be a place where you're just pissed off about being. So, that said, this is like, you know, it's never gonna be like a bitch fest where you just come in and you're just, this is what I hate, this is what I hate, this is what I hate, but know that if you have valid concerns, they are gonna be addressed, because we want this to be, you know, a very seamless process as far as you come to work and things being streamlined and being a place you can enjoy. So for me, you guys know I'm new. I'm always writing in my notebook. There's a few things that I've seen around here that, you know, I just kind of wanted to address, because like the one thing I hate is when you're trying to work with or for somebody that just nitpicks on small things to one person or two people, because that just becomes, you know, annoying. So I like to get everyone on the same page so everyone knows what to expect. So if you see them doing it, you can be like, look, we all agree that this is the way it should be done, so that it's a better working environment for everyone. So that said, let's get straight to it. One of the biggest things for me being an athlete is teamwork. And that's one of the most important things when you work somewhere like a restaurant, is having a team that supports you. And you know, you really have to know what your position is and what your role is in order to do your job properly, because without that being clearly defined, there's just no way of doing a good job. It's just like running around all day and getting so tired and you feel like you're not making any progress. So for me, one of the things that I'd like to, you know, really instill in everyone and to have become like a big change. I know we have this system of captains prior to me being here, but I really like to see, you know, everyone kind of embody that in a certain degree of acting like a captain and being a boss and doing right. I mean, to me, being a captain is just, your team knows that they can count on you, they know you can perform your job so well that if they need your help, you can help them. But really, it's more of a, you know, an internal feeling of being like, look, not only do I have all my stuff intact enough to take care of my job, I have extra to give to my team. And so that's what it is. At a simple point, I have it, you know, act like a captain, be a boss. And when we start all doing that for each other, the people who aren't acting like captains and aren't being bosses, it'll be easier for me to beat them out and pull them aside and be like, look, you know, I want to work with the best people in the industry, and if you're not going to step up to be one of those people, then we're going to have to move you off the team. Because if you're going to come to work and have a professional experience, you can't have weak players on the team. And that needs to be something that we can all unanimously as a team see. You're probably not the right fit for this team, because you know, we really got to be the best at what we do. And that's something that I've taken from my past experiences. One of the places I worked, it's in this city, we don't need to mention names, but every single person on that team takes a lot of pride in the team being one of the best in Houston. And that being said, we chop people all the time. Like if you come in and you're that dude who's like running out before your side work is done, you're talking to your guests in a way that the guests might not come back, you're ruining everybody's money. So like literally on our bulletin board, we have at the very top, we have two words, on praise and on notice. If you're on praise, that means like people see you going an extra distance. Like for example, they might see Lorraine every single day polishing her glasses and being like, you know, she didn't only polish hers, but I met her in my section with my glass because she had already moved on. Lorraine's on praise. Now we had some, for example, like say a food runner misran food 3 times, you're on notice. Because that's messing up everybody's money, everybody's flow. When you tell your guests, you know, like this is the type of experience I'm trying to create for you. and then they tell you they don't eat pork and someone misruns a saloon to your table, it makes you look incompetent like you won't listen. It makes us look incompetent like we're not delivering the experience. Like we will put people on notice and like we all take that serious. Like look, sharpen up, get straight. It's not a write-up or anything like that. It's not coming from management. It's coming from the other people on your team saying, you know, pick up the pace because we need you. We need to be a strong team as a unified front. And we're not saying we hate you, but we're saying if you're going to come to work, you got to show up every day. And that's kind of like the climate and atmosphere I would like to see set like Colonial. We have a great clientele here. Seems like we're really popular. We have people coming in. We just really need to retain them. And so that way we can move into more high-dollar specials, raise the ticket prices up a bit. And I'm not making any promises, but I know there's like a lot of talk about how our tip pool is being distributed and the percentages of those. These are things like when I say like look at the team and how they're performing. When I go to the managers to ask, you know, for review of those things, it makes it make more sense to them to be like, all right, well, the team is performing to that level. Maybe we should adjust things. So act like a captain, be a boss. That was that point in the solution. That being said, you know, a big part of the guest experience is, you know, how we talk to our tables and how we look when we talk to our tables. You guys see the new menus and stuff, or the new uniforms. This is just like a really basic thing that I noticed. If you ever see someone talking to a table, like after they pre-bus them and they're putting a bunch of dirty plates in their hand, like as a team, I would like to see us start making the hands free again. Hands are like a big part of nonverbal communication, and like when you're talking to your guests, if you're like having a great conversation with them and your hands are full of dirty plates, it doesn't matter how good you look, you're holding dirty plates. So like if we could as a team, like help each other with that, it's like you'll see me do it to you all the time. I'll sneak up and pull things out of your hand if I see talking to guests quietly, just so you can really engage the guests more. I think that's one small thing we can do that'll raise the experience a little bit more. All right. Additionally, like for me, when I go out to dine, like I'm very involved in watching the process and like watching what people are doing, because to me that's just a good sign of a good team. How fast they do something. It's like, what's the difference between a cook and a chef? Like some people can cook at their house and you can go in for dinner and it's awesome, but can they make 100 of those plates in 30 minutes? That's the difference, how fast they can get all those things done at a time. So even when we're not busy, we need to appear as if we are, you know, if you listen to Serena Williams, 200-mile-per-hour serve. We move fast because we're professional. We're not, this isn't, you know, Cheddars. We don't have time to walk slow because when people are sitting down, they're trying to watch the show as much as they are enjoying the food. So just by us doing it fast, if there's one table in the restaurant and there's 3 people running to reset a table, they take reset tables seriously. Like it makes us look like we are professional grade, which we are. So when I ask people to go do those things, it's not because I'm like, you need something to do. It adds to the entire experience, especially if there's only 1 or 2 tables here. Like it makes it look like we are very focused on keeping our place clean because we are professional. Does everyone agree with that? So that's the reason why I feel like in that area, I'd like us to help the busters out a little bit more. Like as a table gets up, don't run over to the table and just pull your check. Pull your check, put it in your pocket, but also pull the glasses so that they can run, instead of running glasses and plates to the dish pit, they can run and grab the paper, the flowers, the candle. The table can be reset in under a minute, because that looks crazy efficient. You know, like everybody rushes to the table, everybody does something. And like this is like in 2 looks, the entire thing is reset. That makes us look like we're very unified, awesome team. So if you guys can help me with that, I'd really much appreciate it. It's another thing we need to influence, you know, the experience one bit. Additionally, I get this one because I understand, you know, when you have your table, you're on stage, you're performing for them, and there's certain times when you don't want your performance interrupted by other people. So since I'm at the bar a lot, if you want to run your own drinks or wine because you know you'll have time to do it and you really kind of want to use that as a moment to talk to your guests, if you want to bring in your wine bottles as seat 0 if you want to do your own wine service. And that'll prevent somebody else from running. If once I see that ticket, you'll never catch me at your table doing your wine service for you, because a lot of people like to go, they sold that wine because they have a connection to it, you know, or they just wanted to talk to their guests a little bit more, just kind of slow down, and just that little bit of time doing your own wine service. If you want to do that yourself, please bring seat 0 on it. we're all on the same page. There we go. Okay. Okay. That's one section now. 3 more to go. We're gonna make this painless. All right. So as far as like these service meetings and service standards, I'm really big on mass communication. So you notice the bulletin board looks different. Please check that. In lieu of every single day pre-shifts, I will do like occasional pre-shifts when we need to talk about or chase new items. But my biggest form of communication is going to be that bulletin board. So don't just walk past it every day and think it's not important. I put upcoming events on it. If chef changes recipes in the kitchen, that's where I'll put it. If I add or change the side work chart, which I like, it is a learning curve for me, it's a process. Check that. There's literally check it every night. Because people are like, what's my side work? And they'll be like, number 4, and then they'll do number 4. Like, they didn't check it though, and I was like, well, that was like Monday. Just make sure you're checking it frequently, because I do update that and try to make it available. That being said, it is going to get updated today as well. So there are going to be 2 new side works, just so you know what to look out for. One of them is going to be, we're going to start keeping a camera or one of those silver trays full of rolled napkins for the wet naps. So every time we service someone, they're coming out with the wet naps. We'll roll them, keep them dry, and then just call hot water from the bar to pour on them. So just in addition to like how we have black napkins, your side work might be to roll, I might have 1 or 2 people rolling 25 or 30 wet naps at the end of the night as a side work. One of the ones that was on there that didn't make sense is the seat cushions. This is something we're going to check maybe every 2 weeks, like twice a month, because we don't need to check seat cushions every single day. But me and Sebastian have already worked on a night where we're going to pull these to have them laundered and brought back. But that's not something we're gonna. I feel like the wet naps is something that's more important, and it will, help our guests out. Those napkins will be gross after someone eats a salon. They need a freshener one anyway, so let's bring them wet naps from now on. And the other one that I've decided to add is the check preservers. At the end of the night, I want someone to just start going through the check preservers and pulling the ones that get wet. People write on them sometimes for some reason, I don't know. Making sure we have all of our PR media inserted into every single one, so they all look good. I mean, you're paying a $300 tab, it's nothing, I guess, sloppier than see crumpled up looking piece of paper that doesn't look good. This will help me order more and keep them in stock as much as we need, and it'll just, like I said, raise that guest experience one more notch. Side work here, I try to keep it painless. Check preservers and wet naps is something that I'm really at. Alright, so this is one that we are getting much better at to close. I've not worked any morning shifts here yet, and I know that transitionary period from morning shift to night shift, it's kind of one of our weird fall off phases where things are getting missed. And like, I come in at 3, and for me, it's like if we open at 4, we need to be set up 100% by 4. It's kind of odd for me. So if you guys notice changes on the schedule as far as in times for night people, that's probably going to be one of the biggest changes that you're going to see in the very upcoming future, because we understand there are doubles, you do need to get a break, so we are going to start bringing in people from the night shift earlier to aid in that setting up process, so we can be set up by 4, so you're not, I can understand people are getting irritated, but I'm not letting you check out until this entire restaurant is set up, because I come in at 3. I would really like to sit down and do things like pre-shift and get things like that ready, but I don't have time to do that if I'm running around trying to set up a restaurant. They are the waiters' tables, so you guys need to be getting that done. So I feel like the best way to help do that is just, instead of like someone coming in at 5, you come in at 3, your main priority is set up the dining room. You don't have a section, you don't have any tables yet. So if you're going around the whole restaurant setting up like how the captain, the whole captain position used to do, it can all get done by 4, and we can all be professional. I'm serious, that's like one of my biggest pet peeves here. Sorry if I come across as like short or angry sometimes when I show up at work, but I see 4 o'clock as a deadline for it to be done. If we're starting service, people shouldn't come in and see us get that done. That's just like, for me, that's important to do. disrespect almost. Why are you telling me you close from 3 to 4 to reset the restaurant? And I watched you from 4 to 4:30 still resetting it. You're just lying to my face. Like, if you say you're closing from 3 to 4 to get it done, get it done. So I'd really like to see that done, and I know you guys can help me do it because it's really not that hard. Awesome. At the end of the night, you really have to leave all the candles on until the last guest leaves. I've tried, because I've been in your position, to start cutting doubles earlier and then giving those sections to the later people. You know, it's not perfect, so don't, I know it's tough sometimes when you're a double and you're like, you know, I want to get out of here. It's not a perfect science where I have exactly the amount of night people to cover the amount of doubles, but I am making an honest effort to do those things. So, like, don't get mad at me if you're like, it's 9:30 and I'm so bored. Well, sometimes we get a lot of people in, but yeah, I am making the effort because I don't think anyone even tried that before. I'm saying, you're a double, you're cut, well, you came in at 5, there's only 3 tables in your section, we'll take this section too. You're not gonna get so weeded taking 5 or 6 tables at the end of the night, because even though people are cut, they're not gone. So they're still gonna be here to help you if you need someone to help you run a drink or whatever, but they much prefer to help you run a drink or refill your water than to wait for that table to leave at the end of the night. So they much prefer it be yours so that they can get out of here earlier. So I am trying to make that change of, making sure that the people who come in later are staying later. But be mindful of it too when I cut you. Keep your eyes open for the people who are now having 12 tables in their section. Just to make to make sure that the guest is still being taken care of. Even though you're cut, like I said, make sure waters are being filled. If you see a guest looking around for someone, don't be like, well, I'm cut, I'm not helping. Let's do everything we can so that it's a more pleasurable experience for everyone, those working doubles and those staying on later, to make sure that this system is something that we can continue in the future. This is another one too. It's helping these busters. These busters bust their ass now. And you know, a lot of them don't actually make as much as some of you. So especially at the end of the night when we get that last pop and it's like between 9:30 and 11:30 when most of the tables are leaving, when they're running around trying to reset 5 or 6 or 7 tables, don't be a dining room model. Don't just stand here and be like, well, I gotta watch my table. Grab the plates for them, grab some silverware. They literally run through the dining room sometimes. They work. And, you know, they don't ask a lot from us in return. They're really here to work and do their jobs to the best of their ability. And I feel like it really shows the respect when, you know, don't stand beside the table waiting for them to get it done. If you have time, please help them out.
What we had last time was really good.
You know, I'll give it to this guy. This guy's on praise and laughter. Fernando, that dude is down to work. He's a valley. Like, he can literally run to a table with a paper in this hand, a lighter in this hand to light a candle, 4 plates. Like, he's all about work. So anytime you see him busting his ass to like get it done for you, really do your best to help him out. And then all the buses for that matter. Like I said, it creates a cool show to watch where it looks like we're so united as a team that everyone's helping everyone to get things done. That being said, busing the tables, especially on our busiest nights, because of just storage restrictions, it's very paramount that we pull empty glassware off the table. Once a drink is done, don't let it sit, get it to the dish pit quick. Like, you'll notice this with your martini glasses, and of course the Merlot glasses. Like, if you know your table's done with the bottle, but they have the glasses and the glasses are empty, don't just let it sit because you're like, oh, well, they don't need anything else. We really need those glasses, and even if we were to fill every shelf in this entire restaurant with those glasses, once they hit the tables, then they hit the dish pit. There's like that area where they're in dish, they haven't been polished, they're in the back room, and we still have tables ordering bottle service. And God forbid we have a full balcony of patios or parties up here that's also drinking Chardonnay, which happened to us the other night. The entire north balcony was drinking Pinot and Chardonnay, so they had 2 of each. And so, like, you know, sometimes it looks like management isn't doing their best. We have the glasses here, but sometimes they get used. So pull them I came up here and yeah, there was maybe 24 glasses on tables that they were done with, but we had to pull them to get them back around like in rotation again. So it's making it hard on everyone.
To add to that, I mean, I feel like we should have extra plates, extra silverware, you know, I feel like we're having to fight for it. And then because if we're with extra cards, we'll go to that, we just meant to go get extra plates.
We
Like,
need more
fight
dessert.
for it.
We need more dessert.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that is, we are going to do that part towards the end. I need you guys to tell me all the supplies. I have keys and cards on the way, so we'll have extra of those in the office. Everyone's going to get a brand new one, even if you already have one, you can get another one. Because it's good to have not just one in your uniform, but like one in your cupboard or something. 'Cause I know I wear suits every day, so I have a couple of these things, but like,
It goes missing sometimes.
sometimes you loan it out to somebody and you don't get it back. And it's good to be like, man, let me just go get my work from my So we're professional. You know, I've never known a soccer player that only had one pair of socks. You know, you have extras in your bag for whatever reasons. You gotta, if we're gonna be professional, you gotta have professional time. So I'll get you all the supplies you need. And I might even put it up on the bulletin board. I'll just have one of those sections that says supplies. If you think of anything in the next week or so, write it on there and I'll do my best. Okay. All right, almost done. Things that we need to do for the bar. Bartenders, you know, work hard as well. We're trying to create like a really nice. If they give you a coffee or teacup for your coffee service and they didn't create it, kindly ask me to do so. That's something I'm talking to people about. Like we can't be skipping small steps like that. It's a big one. You're paying. When you're in a restaurant of this caliber, you expect those small touches, like a hot cup to pour your tea into. You don't want to pour a hot tea and it's immediately